Good day, man.
Yeah, what's up, man?
This is amazing.
I'm feeling like nostalgic. I don't know if that's the word. Is that the word?
This is amazing, man.
Huh?
I'm really excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited, man. I'm feeling...
You know, I've been getting inboxes upon inboxes upon inboxes about bare knuckles. As recent as literally 2 hours ago, a gentleman, I can't remember his Twitter handle, said, "Where Bana? Did you keep up on bare knuckles?"
There's another guy who said, "Bare knuckles imekufa tu hivyo."
So we are back.
Interesting. Yeah, we are back. It's
How
amazing. It's been 10 months.
A whole 10 months.
Almost a year.
Yes.
Yeah?
It's been a really long time. How have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
I know you've been telling me you're well, but you know you can want to say something up on the camera.
No, I'm well. No, I've been good.
Yes.
Although I never knew time flies that fast.
Time does fly. It feels like yesterday when we last shot the last
One of the
episode
last
we had.
shoot, was it the one we did at Serena? That was the last
No. The one we did at Serena was
Christmas.
a preamble to.
Oh yeah, that was the
sets.
other one.
Absolutely.
Where you had some new shoes. Eric was sitting like this, shaking.
Fake from all the way in Australia. I think Melbourne. She's told me, I keep forgetting. Or Brisbane. A very good lady who's now become my friend, all the way down in Cyprus. Or Cyprus, in Etoivo. I haven't been, I plan to go there. That's where Lazarus was buried, actually.
Oh, right.
The Lazarus who resurrected.
Oh, and died.
It's a very historical site. I have another friend all the way in Ghana.
There is someone, is it the lady from Cyprus who brought you some wine?
She did. No, she didn't bring wine. She brought a very tough liquor. Oh. Funny enough, I actually haven't drank it yet. It was very conk. She told me to put it in the fridge for long and then take it with water.
Amazing.
All the way from Cyprus. Imagine that.
Yeah,
so
God gifts all the way from Rongai. And you haven't gotten any.
Yes,
I think they'll come, I guess.
So we are so excited to be back. Welcome back. The plan is to go on every Friday as usual and air the very wonderful global show from your participation that is bare knuckles.
So there's no other 10-month break?
No other, not even a 2-week break. We are very excited. We have a fantastic time lined up for you. I mean, I cannot wait, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun
Where and what have you been doing for 10 months?
No, I've been good. 10 months is a long time. A lot of stuff happened. Towards the 10th month, I think just before we went on the break, I lost my dad. Man.
You did?
Yeah, man, it was a crazy time, man.
You did.
It's actually 9 months since the loss of my dad. Yeah. So it was a tough time at that time. So I think even shooting would have been hard. I would have said leering in front of
on the set.
Middle of sets.
On the set.
Jackie, so my thoughts are, hey, So yeah, but it was an interesting time because I learned quite a bit about myself and about life upon losing my dad. Because
I've been thinking, and I was there, preceding to the loss. And I think that's why these informed our conversation today. We are talking about how to deal with loss or how best to deal with loss. Your case is not very different from mine. I lost my mother, about 4 years now. 4 years now. And it was a very difficult time.
Yeah, it was a difficult time, and even before you start on that, I'm like, it's very different. Like now when you're talking about when you lost your mom and the time when I lost my dad, I feel like I'm a totally different guy. Like even now when you're saying, I lost my mom 4 years ago, now like I'm feeling you. You get. Before, I remember you lost. Yes, I felt Rico has lost his mom. But I felt like I wasn't empathetic enough at that time due to the ignorance that I had.
That your parents would live forever.
No, I was just ignorant about loss and about pain that people go through, which is I think.
No, the thing that gets me, which is sort of tied to what you're saying, the thing that gets me is that how we like to make people feel like we understand. I don't know if you had people from your shags or home who would come and say, ni uchungu lakini utapona. There's a lady who would say, I won't mention her name, every time we'd speak about loss, she'd say, the grass will grow, the grass will... And I'd be like, you're so bloody insensitive. I think the thing that was the biggest lesson for me was that my pain and how I grieve can be very different from yours. And I needn't understand or to tell you that I understand how you feel, because I don't. Because there are depths you swam with your dad that I will never be in knowledge of, or conversations you had, or maybe a ritual or a regimen you had with your father that I never, ever will be privy to. So I think sometimes when we are grieving with people, I remember a friend of mine just came and sat at my mother's house and he said nothing, and that was so impactful. He just sat there and kept quiet. He came again, sat and kept quiet. So I think there's the silence in it that is also so important. I used to be very asked by people who say, unajua kifo, wacha nikwambie, kukufa utakufa, hata wewe unajua ni kama unapiga tizi ya kukufa ukilala.
But they say that at that time.
Yeah, check me. No, and it was very painful.
There's a friend of mine who told me when someone died, his dad had died.
Yeah.
So he told me when someone dies, when you go meet them, don't tell them pole. Ama don't send a text and say, hey, pole. You know, it's like it's, and I felt it now when my dad called up pole. Like, what is pole? But for what your experience, how did you, like when you heard the news, how did you react?
No, my mother passed on when I was in Cape Town. I was trying to earn a living in South Africa. And my sister tried all the glorious ways she could tell me, but she was defeated. So she just said, we've lost her on an SMS. So I woke up to the message at 5 in the morning.
Oh, you woke up and found a message?
Yes. And for some reason, I was switching off my phone because my heart felt like something would be off days before. And I think especially for many, many men, friends of ours and fans who are watching, this thing that a man needs to be stoic, stoicism. Check Buddha, unajikaza. I think it's terrible. I wailed.
Immediately after something.
No, I had some women with me where I was, and I tried to jifanya, but I really, really looked for a space to cry.
Oh, you didn't cry in the open?
No, I didn't. And then later on, the following day, I had to travel back, of course, for a burial. And I remember flying all the way from Cape Town because there's no direct flight, so we had to stop at Johannesburg. So I started wailing in the plane, shaking me. And the man next to me was some white boy who was just eating cheeseburgers and sandwiches.
He wasn't asking you what's up.
Check him.
You wasn't uncomfortable. Maybe you're a weird.
And I was just like, you are so unfeeling, this man. But there's a lady who bumped me up to business class, which was empty. So I cried there. For the first time, most of my travels were leisure. For the first time, I understood that somebody can travel to rush for a funeral. But I was just like, why is that guy so upset at airports? I was like, we're at the airport, smile.
You don't know what they
so I think it ties to what you're saying about being empathetic and very and expressing sympathy. So you become more aware about people's pain.
So I was in the studio when I got a text from my sister, and she said, pick up your phone.
Sisters are the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
So I nyongaed, and then she told me, she sent a text and said, pick. So I went outside. Funny enough, I also had that feeling. Because she traveled to Shags.
Yes.
So I went outside, picked, she told me. Then I went back. I was a stoic guy. We were many guys in the studio. So just... So I don't know. I didn't know what to do next. Though.
Yes.
I felt like I've been hit by a bus.
Yes.
So I stood. In fact, some guy found me in the corridor and I was talking to my sister and he was like, Uko sawa? So I'm like, how did he know Siko sawa? I felt like I wasn't showing it in my face. So after that, my brother now called me after like 5 minutes. So that is what made me start crying.
I know we laugh about it now, but it's actually very... I think the other thing that a lot of us tell people when somebody dies is that, no, as my friend would say, grass will grow. I don't think 4 years into losing my mother, you really move on.
I think so.
You move forward, but you don't move on. Every September, my mother passed on the 1st of September. Every September or every time I'm walking on the streets of Nairobi and you smell a similar scent or you see a similar frame, your heart becomes very icy. So the idea, if you're watching and you're looking to tell somebody, move to on what will die, it's very insensitive. Nobody ever moves on from losing a loved one. I think you move forward. You just, it becomes a wound that you carry in your heart forever.
A friend of mine called Kasili texted me and told me that very same. He said, that feeling will never leave you.
Yes.
Like you'll always have that feeling all the time. So I remember there's once my neighbor gave me a lift. He's this old guy. And I looked at him and I was like, hey, this guy looks like my dad. So I almost started wanting to cry again. So that feeling, I think it's triggered.
It is.
That's why I was thinking about this topic when I was thinking how to deal with loss. Is there a way?
No, there is no conventional way to deal with it. And it's not just about loss of death also. We needn't, because there are people whose parents are 99 and have strength to maybe our former president, Moi, to chap another 20 years. And they've never experienced that sort of
like
loss.
Like the Queen of England.
Yeah, like the Queen of England.
She's
maybe
living and living.
Forever and ever, amen. It could be a loss of a job, loss of a pet, like your dog also died.
Do you know? Let me tell you. These stories are quite related.
Yes.
When my dad died, I didn't really cry much. I cried here and there, but I didn't really cry.
Yes.
The other day, I'm in Watamu doing comedy, and then my wife called me and says, "The dog has died." I wailed. So I think I combined. I was not wailing about the dog. I was now wailing like the lost ones, like my jobs, my things that I've ever lost. I wailed the loud wailing.
Yes.
Take it, dogma. It was called dogmatics. Take it, dogmatics. Dogmatics. But I thought I didn't cry again.
No, I think the thing is this. Before you said you're sad, so I remember you called me from the coast, and I didn't know how to grieve. To be honest.
Did I call you at the time?
Yes, you did. You see, I had a dog when I was living in California. Not Jerry, California, Caliph. And I didn't have it. It was my housemate's dog. His name was Duffy. So when I was flying back to the country, Duffy took me alongside my friend to the airport. Then when I got off the car with my bags, Duffy started crying. And I was crushed. Check me. Duffy! Duffy, don't do this to me, Duffy! Duffy! So I flew again from LA to New York crying.
Because of the dog.
Hey, that is sad. The dog looked at me. So the reason I don't keep pets is because I got too attached. So when I get attached, I start weeping. Like if the cat is sad or if it's not leaking the milk as it normally does. So I don't like getting attached. But as I was saying, we needn't just talk about it's not just about losing a loved one. Yes. It could be losing your job. A friend of mine moved out of their home from 25 years of having lived there, and it really affected her. And I think all losses, the thing again that I learned when my mother passed on, is to be able to feel all feelings until you can't feel them no more. Even a breakup feeling. Sometimes, again, as men we are taught, just live on, maze. Huyo mtu ameenda. I think it's important to live until that feeling leaves you. Okay, maybe it will never leave you, like we are talking about death. But if you miss, say, a scenario, if, say, it's anger.
So you're saying if you're grieving...
If you're grieving, grieve so much. Be sad. No, sononeka.
But what if your expression of sadness is a bad thing, like drinking?
No, that's terrible. Yeah. No, it needn't be a vice. If it's just a feeling, say you want to cry, and I think I need to open a political party for propagating men to cry. Just so if you need to cry, lock yourself in a room and wail. If somebody has, say, broken your heart or upset you, it's very important that we do what? That we feel that feeling. Eventually, you're going to move on to the other side of not feeling that feeling anymore.
So, one of the things I learned is when someone around you dies, whether you know them or not, the person who's going through the loss, you have to empathize with all your heart. I remember my mom used to read the newspaper and stop at the death announcements. No, me, I never used to read those death announcements. Nowadays, I look at them, checking, hey, James, this is interesting.
Yes,
because now I empathize with that. So if someone dies, go visit the sick person in hospital. Go for the committee. It's annoying. Going for those committees. Juicy, your uncle was unwell. Like I went with you to hospital. Why? I wasn't like that in the past. Because now I've learned how to empathize.
And he later passed on as well. No, I think the thing for me, also if you are in a dating relationship, I remember by the way, it's a terrible idea to date if you've just lost somebody. I got into a horrible relationship because I was not right to be in a relationship because you give the other person a raw deal. I remember immediately after my mother died, for a whole year and 6 months, I wore black.
All right.
I wore black.
And
subconsciously, I just would wake up. I had like 26 t-shirts that were black shirts and so on.
But you're wearing black now, Mas?
No, I'm fine now. I have many colors. So the thing I think which, just to add on to your point, about being very alert not to start anything, especially with somebody, because you see, grieving is very lonely. So there's parts of you that feels like, hey, maybe I need to get married. Maybe I need to
fill that gap.
Yeah, to fill that gap. But if somebody had told me that it's just a void, and the void is caused by me grieving, I would not rush into, say, being in a relationship or some people take up drinking. That's when they drink the most, because they feel they're trying to fill up the void. So I think if you just live through the sequences, it's going to eventually,
But in our culture, I know the producer wants us to wind up. Most of the time, we don't have these conversations about loss.
Yeah.
Like we are taught to be that stoic guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like how do we deal with
And I think, thank God for a platform like Bare Knuckles, because we try to keep it real. Seldom do you meet men who tell you how they truly feel. Like, men want to act like they have it together, which is a shame, because then you don't know what to do with grief. No uncle of yours sits you on the side and says, unachua kijana yangu lia kabisa. More often than not, they'll tell you to man up.
Even if you lose a job, you just
I know a man who lost a job and kept going to work for a whole 5 months. So he just chop a laps in Uhuru Park in Tao. Check. At 6 in the morning, so the wife doesn't know. So it's a shame.